Welcome to episode 568. This episode is going to be a detour from what we've been talking about the last couple of days. We've been talking about lead generation or how to create customers, and the last recording, if I remember correctly, was on how to use SEO and Google and all that jazz, how we can use that to create customers. So now we're going to take a slight detour because something happened to me recently, and I thought that I could share this experience with you guys, and there'll be some nuggets of sales wisdom for how we can improve our business. And after I'm done with this episode, then the next one, which will be 569, will be back to lead generation, creating customers, and whatever online method for creating customers that we haven't discussed so far. If you're curious about this, thread of the discussion, if this is your first time listening to the podcast recording, then listen to episode 567, which was the one before this. And then I think you can skip back two or three before that, and it will bring you up to speed on the discussions here on creating customers, lead generation tactics, uh, new school methods, online methods, old school methods, offline methods. So yeah, that will bring you up to speed. So, what is the detour that we're going to make on this episode? We're going to talk a little bit about using subjects for your promos, because a lot of us have promos that we run promos from time to time. They may be seasonal, like Christmas, Easter, Valentine's, or whatever. Sometimes we're trying to get rid of inventory. Let's say for those of you who sell children's clothes, maybe like children's pajamas or something, and you have some things that have been in stock for too long, maybe 8 months or so, and you want to do 50% off, 80% off, whatever, because you're trying to get rid of inventory so they can bring in new stock. So, a couple of us, I'm sure, or some of you listening to the podcast right now, have tried to do that using engaging headlines for your promos, whether it's in the copy that you put up on Instagram, or whether it's WhatsApp messages, or whether it's email or blanket DMs that you send out to people. Now, I received one of those messages that I thought was really interesting. Uh, the subject just said, kindly read the flyer below. Now, ordinarily, I wouldn't read that. I would just select and delete. And I'm sure there are lots of you here who would do the same. In fact, folks who are as, okay, I don't know what the word is, but folks like my wife and my mom would not only select and delete, but they would select and delete, report to spam, all those options that we have available nowadays. But anyway, since I've been doing lots of since I started the podcast and I'm doing lots of commentating on business and sales and things like that, I pay attention to some of these things once in a while, just so that I can share them here as an example of what not to do to promote your business or to get the sale. So, kindly read the flyer below is not a compelling subject line because it doesn't get anyone curious to have a look. And the reason why is because when we are using headlines or subjects in our promo copy for our flyers, our emails, our broadcast messages, whatever, we should be using relevance as our guiding light. And the reason why we should be using relevance is simple. If the message is, if the subject line seems irrelevant, folks are already overwhelmed in their inboxes. People already have too many WhatsApp messages, too many DMs, too many emails. Um, it's even becoming a problem on Twitter now. They just create all these threads, rope 150 of you guys together, and then they just send out that message. So it's even taking hold on Twitter. Since TikTok is new, I haven't been harassed on TikTok yet. I think you have to follow someone on TikTok before you send them a message. So maybe that's the saving factor for now. Well, basically, people's inboxes are already overwhelmed. So if it's irrelevant or if it's not intriguing, then nobody is going to bother reading. So sending out this message that says "kindly read the flyer below" is a recipe for disaster because lots of people are going to ignore. I mean, except for someone who's extremely bored right now, they have nothing to do, and they might as well just read your flyer. So, excuse me, the subject line, purpose of the subject line is supposed to be to spark interest and is supposed to arouse curiosity. And as a general rule, or as a general principle, Your subject line should have the problem that you are addressing or the opportunity that you are trying to solve, because that is definitely relevant. So if you sell rat poison, for instance, and I've been having a problem with rats in our area. We have lots of stray cats. Yes, where I live in Abuja, we have stray cats. So let's say you are a veterinary service or an animal rescue type shelter. I know you might say, what are you going on about? But just hang in there. For some reason, we are beginning to get those services a lot in Lagos and Abuja, because we have a growing population of people that love their animals, that take care of their animals, and people are paying attention to these things either for moral or ethical reasons or for whatever. So there are people who are concerned with whether you have stray dogs or stray cats and how you can rescue them and things of that nature. So there are not many well, by my reckoning anyway, there are not many either in Lagos or Abuja, but they're out there. And when I run into them, I'm like, okay, that sounds strange, but cool. I guess Nigerian society is changing. Our demographics are changing. Our psychographics are changing. People are interested in a whole lot of stuff. And so I guess there's a newer generation out there who thinks about things different. So if you're one of those people and you think, okay, Abuja has a problem, too many stray dogs, too many stray cats, and your business model is built around rescuing, rehabilitating, and then selling these cats or selling these dogs. In case you're wondering, yes, it does happen. I see people even at traffic stops in Abuja. Well, when I lived in Lagos, I didn't see them that much, but I see them once in a while at traffic stops. You see someone holding those fancy dog breeds. Yeah, so they're for sale. So people do them. We have some hawkers that have them. So if that's your business model, then if you're going to send out that email and you put in the subject, kindly read the flyer below, you're not going to get a lot of interest from that. But if you have in your subject line the problem or the opportunity, which is stray cats in your neighborhood, question mark, for someone like me who has stray cats in my own compound because they're constantly pooping in the entrance way. My wife doesn't like cats. My older son doesn't like cats, and they poop all over the place, so it's just causing a mess. So someone like me might open to say, like, okay, how did this person get my email? What are they talking about? Stray cats, I definitely have that problem, so I might open it. So it might make more sense if you're in this line of business to have in your subject header stray cats, stray dogs, question mark. Even if you did only that, you would get more attention than writing kindly read the flyer below. So there you're putting the problem or the opportunity that you're on about. Now, if you already have an ongoing transaction with the person, then it might not be out of place to put the transaction number in the subject or the case file, or say what subject is pending or things like that. So, subject might be case number blah 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 blah, or pending transaction, Mr. Ogochuku, or something like that. Or let's say you've already started the relationship with them. You guys have agreed, you've signed the contracts, but the deposits haven't been paid. Then the subject shouldn't be kindly read this flyer below, or I mean, sorry, kindly read this information below. The subject should be payment reminder or deposit reminder or something like that. Let's see what else. So, problem, opportunity. If it's an ongoing transaction, you can make references to certain individuals on the case, case numbers, transaction numbers, things like that. There are lots of things that you can do. But one thing you shouldn't do, in my own opinion, to spark curiosity is all those headings that say, you won't believe this, exclamation mark in all caps, or you won't believe that somebody did this, question mark, you can't make this thing up, question mark, exclamation mark, live in Abuja, dot, 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 or whatever. I don't think those will spark interest or curiosity anymore because they have been overdone. Then it's also possible that you can use key insights, business insights, in the subject heading. So, for instance, in the previous episode, I think I used the example of people who do alternative energy solutions. So you sell solar panels and inverter batteries. So you're trying to spark up interest in your some new product that you have. The subject that you send out to everybody on your WhatsApp or on your email, the subject could be 70% of owners regret buying this kind of battery. Dot dot dot. Now, someone who is in the market for inverter batteries or who is worried about replacing batteries anytime soon might click on that. Remember, I told you that in the early days, people had complaints about inverter batteries swelling up and exploding and stuff like that. So you definitely get those people's attention. Or if you're more on the stylish side, the subject line is Gucci handbags last season according to Bella Niger. Dot dot dot. Or something like that. Then maybe because you have the new, the latest Fendi handbags or something. Now I'm not a style icon. I know nothing about style. My mom says that my fashion style is I have no style. So please, if you run into me in person or if you're sending me DMs, don't tell me that Fendi does not make handbags. So I don't know if Fendi makes handbags or not. But anyway, yeah. So that can be a subject. A subject headline because I think I saw Ashake, he's a Nigerian musician, in one of his videos. I think he had one of those Gucci slippers or something like that. So let's assume that Gucci is trending right now, but you want to offload your Fendi merchandise onto the market. So that could be a good headline. Gucci handbags are last season, according to Bella Niger, or whatever. I'm not even sure if Bella Niger is still a beacon of style as it used to be when they first launched. So these are examples about the kind of subject lines that you can use. But remember that we're trying to spark interest and we're trying to spark curiosity, and that relevance is our guiding light. Relevance. If it is irrelevant, best believe that lots of people are just going to go, are just going to let your email walk on by. Then, okay, so with all the principles that we've discussed so far, just use the subject line carefully, use it the best way that you can, and take your chances and then leave it there. If it clicks, then that's good. If you get a good open rate, then that's good. If people take action, people buy, people subscribe, people do whatever it is you're asking them to do, then that's fine. If they don't, then at least there's you can. If they don't, then there's always next time that you can improve upon. Now, just in case you're curious, the message that I received that said kindly read the flyer below, guess what it was about? It was about a Valentine's Day promo. So, between you and me, dear listener, who is listening to this podcast right now, what do you think is more effective if I'm trying to advertise my Valentine discounts and I have a choice between two subject headings? One says kindly read the flyer below, and the other one says Valentine's Day Couples Retreat, Abuja. Which do you think is going to get more opens? Especially since this message was received by me on the 1st of February, and I'm a married dude, and of course, wifey and I have already started having those conversations around what to do for Valentine's. So, I'm not saying that if the title was Valentine's Day Couple Retreat Abuja, I would have opened it with interest. But realistically speaking, you send that email out to a million people. The first set of people you put kindly read this flyer below, and then the next 500,000 you put so as a subject Valentine's Day Couple Retreat Abuja. How many? Which do you think is going to get more opens? I'm not going to make any arguments either way. I'll just leave you guys to decide on that one. So thank you very much for listening to episode 568. This is the end of the detour. At 569, we will continue with lead generation methods for creating customers, both new school and old, both offline and online.